Steampunk Avengers assemble! It's harmless phosphorescence. Hello everyone, this is Thoreau Smiley, and I have done terrible things in England. Who is joining me this week?
My name is Josh Cece, and stories of my exploits have thrilled English boys for decades.
Hello, my freaky darlings. I'm Brian Lesh.
Hi, I'm Alaric Weber, and today I'll be talking about pipping the ace at 900 yards.
Ooh, this is a family show, Al.
Is this your TED Talk?
Yeah, totally, yeah. Pippin ain't easy, so you gotta be
you gotta be an ace. This is Harmless Phosphorescence. This is the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you about it. This show is brought to you by patrons, and do you want to be a patron? Well, you can be a patron for just $1 a month, like our recent patron. We got a new patron this month, Luis Gomez.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we know that guy. Thanks, Luis, for joining up.
Thank you, yeah.
Right. But $1 a month is all it takes, and you get an extra podcast every month, our monthly movie. For the month of July, we did Time Bandits. August is coming up soon. We let you guys choose that, and, well, we've almost got a decision made on that. We'll know within a few days. But $1 a month is all you need. $5 a month gets you a ton of extra bonus content, Star Wars stuff, music stuff. So head on over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment and become a patron today. Now, this week on Harmless Phosphorescence, where we watch every theatrically released superhero movie in order, we are up to The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
In times of great peril, the world must call upon the services of a singular individual.
Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I'm waiting to be impressed.
The greatest adventurer who ever lived has been recruited to find a madman.
To stop him, you must lead a team like nothing the world has seen.
Cheers.
At your service. Extraordinary gentlemen indeed.
And women.
Our transportation has arrived. You have 4 days.
And the game is on.
This summer,
So what are we dealing with?
Unstoppable assassins.
20th Century Fox invites you
They're indestructible!
to discover an adventure
Take your eyes from the rope!
in a league of its own.
Surface!
Sean Connery,
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, released July 11th, 2003, with a running time of 110 minutes. It cost $78 million to make and took in $179 million at the box office. Which
You didn't say the whole title.
the League. What is it?
It's The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Finding Nemo.
It is. There's so much Nemo in this.
So much.
Which, yeah, well, anyways, okay. We'll get to that. But, this movie came out July 11th at the box office, which means it's time to play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where the boys here try to guess where this opened, which will be less fun once, as we go on, and superhero movies always open at number 1, but it is not a given at this point. So we're going to start off. Oh, the second part of the game, by the way, is where I say the description, the box office mojo description of each movie in the top 10, and they try to guess what the movie is.
I wait every week for this. I love it.
So we are going to start off. This movie did not super great, so we're not going under the assumption it opened at number 1, and we'll start the guessing, and I'll just go around the table, the metaphorical Skype table. Josh, where do you think it opened?
I think it opened at 3.
Number 3 from Josh. Brian.
It's Sean Connery, too.
And nobody else?
Yeah.
Just him and hand puppets.
No, I didn't recognize a single fucking person or name.
No. Al.
I don't intend to do this. Just when I do research, every once in a while it pops up. I'm pretty sure it was at number 2.
All right, so Al and Brian deciding to pick the same number.
I'm not cheating. Not cheating on purpose.
No, that's You're an honorable man. You're the credible Hulk.
Yeah. So, all right, this is the box office top 10 game. Coming in at number 10. We had this. After being betrayed and left for dead in Italy, Charlie Croker and his team plan an elaborate gold heist against their former ally.
This is the Italian Job again, right?
Italian Job again.
Still, yeah.
Coming in at number 9. Bruce Banner, a genetics researcher with a tragic past, suffers an accident that causes him to transform into a raging green monster when he gets angry. That one sounds familiar.
Hulk.
Yeah, that was
Just one word.
Just Hulk.
just
Yeah.
Hulk.
Like Cher.
Hulk what? No, just Hulk.
Hulk believe in life after love.
Do you believe?
Number 8. 4 weeks after a mysterious incurable virus spreads throughout the UK, a handful of survivors try to find sanctuary.
28 days later?
Yeah.
4 weeks, yeah.
It's been 4 weeks since you looked at me.
It's the zombie plague.
Chickadee China, the Chinese zombie.
Yeah, it's been 4 weeks.
Coming in at number 7. I don't remember this movie. The Sailor of legend is framed by the goddess Eris for the theft of the Book of Peace and must travel to her realm at the end of the world to retrieve it and save the life of his childhood friend.
I think I know, but is anybody else?
Is it like Rise of Atlantis or something?
No.
Sinbad? Is it a Sinbad thing?
It is a Sinbad thing. Legend of the
Oh.
Seven Seas, an animated film which I am unaware of.
Same.
I don't know if that's DreamWorks or what.
Probably.
Probably.
It's always fucking DreamWorks.
It's always Jeffrey Katzenberg.
The motherfucker. Steve Jobs. Coming in at number 6. I'm trying to think of a way to say this so that's not going to give it away. I'll just read it straight out. The Angels investigate a series of murders which occur after the theft of a witness protection profile database.
The Angels.
Charlie's Angels?
Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels : Full Throttle.
Charlie's Angels :
Oh, no, not the Hell's Angels. I see.
Yes, Charlie's Angels.
It's like the Angels are solving crimes now.
We've had this before. After his son is captured and taken to Sydney, a timid father sets out on a journey to bring him home.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Finding Nemo.
Two Nemos in the theater at the same time. Weird.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
That's what I was going to say.
Nemo overload.
Nemo. I made you out of clay. Coming in at number 4. I don't know why.
We don't need reason.
Coming in at number 4. Elle heads to Washington to join the staff of a representative in order to pass a bill to ban animal testing.
It's the Legally Blonde again, right?
Yeah.
Legally Blonde 2. I don't know, what is it, Blonder?
Rise of the Silver Surfer. He testified. I don't know why I said that to Throws.
There's a guy, Legally Blonde 2, Judgment Day.
Yeah. She's like, and incidentally, Skynet went live. while she's giving her testimony.
Coming in at number 3. A machine from a post-apocalyptic future travels back in time to protect a man and woman from an advanced robotic assassin to ensure they both survive a nuclear attack.
This is the first Legally Blonde, right? This is before the bottle of bleach becomes sentient.
Oh my god.
So
which one came out in 2003?
This is Salvation, right?
Salvation?
No.
No?
That was like 06, 07, something like that. This was Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Oh,
Yeah.
So this isn't the one with Common, right?
No.
I think that was Salvation.
This is the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger does a Texan accent in one scene.
He's got range.
This is the one with the woman version of T-1000.
The Terminatrix.
Yeah. The Terminatrix.
That's what they called her.
Because the futurist female.
No, what I love how their description though describes every single Terminator movie.
Every single one. I cannot believe after my Skynet joke that
was. Coming in at number 2, in an alternate Victorian age world, a group of famous contemporary fantasy, science fiction, and adventure characters team up on a secret mission.
Not Victorian. I would say it's more steampunk, which is Edwardian, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was post-Victoria. Wait.
Well, yeah. Victorian was still like, sitting rooms and fancy. It was Edwardian, which was a little, the 1800s mostly. That's interesting.
Well, I mean,
when there was innovation.
Victoria was when did Victoria rule, Al?
I don't know.
I love how I go to Al for every question about actual facts.
Any fact. Yeah, you're a fact witness, Al.
I don't know if it necessarily goes by reign, that it's sort of an overarching, like a generational thing. Like we call generations nicknames now. Right? That's how that works? No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anyway, the movie we're talking about, number 3 was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah. And I won.
Number 2, Al and Brian won.
Oh, was number 2?
Yep. No, Terminator 3, The Rise of the...
I won and I lost.
You're the real winner, though, with that.
Right.
All right. Yep.
Terminator joke.
Yeah. That's I'm on the coast on that for a while.
And the number 1 movie of the week, a blacksmith teams up with a pirate to save his love.
Wait, who teams up with a pirate?
A blacksmith teams up with a pirate to save his love.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
One of those.
The Curse of the Black Pearl. It's the first one.
Oh.
The good one.
Okay.
Oh.
So, the Edwardian period is 1901 to 1910. So, sort of.
Right on the edge there, yeah.
So, you're right. It takes place in the Victorian era, but yeah, that's steampunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Victorian era was from 1837 to 1901, yeah.
So, I mean, it's right on the edge there, but it's definitely, I mean, like I said in the intro,
I have a better understanding.
It's absolutely steampunk Avengers is what it is.
Absolutely. So I know that fan base had been around for a while, right? But this must have been quite a treat for them, right? Or did it start?
The steampunk thing? Yeah, I honestly didn't. It was probably not very long after this that I learned that steampunk existed as a thing, so I have no idea what they were like prior.
Same. Okay.
But that actually brings us to the comic book history of this property. Mr. Al, will you tell us, please, about that?
I sure will. This book is actually one of my favorites. One of my favorites, which is probably why I didn't like this movie so much. But we'll get to that later. Let's see. Okay, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was created and exclusively produced by writer Alan Squiffy Moore and artist Curly Q Kev Kevin O'Neill.
Those were their boxing names.
On the back of Volume 2, they have on both of them they make up fake bios for themselves, and they're different on Volumes 1 and 2. But on Volume 2, those were where those nicknames came from.
Oh, right on.
Okay, so Alan Moore. Oh wow, I didn't write down the date. Oh no, I did. That's coming up. Okay, Alan Moore is known for his work on Swamp Thing, V for Vendetta, Batman: The Killing Joke, From Hell, and Watchmen. Kevin O'Neill's other notable works include Nemesis, The Warlock, and Martial Law, which I hadn't really heard of either of those.
Those are probably British titles, right?
Potentially. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen consists of 4 limited series volumes so far. I don't know if they're going to keep it going. There's a graphic novel called Black Dossier and a spin-off Nemo trilogy.
Finally, Nemo has his own book.
Disney crossover.
Yeah.
Debuting in March of 1999, Volume 1 was published under the America's Best Comics imprint of DC in the United States and Vertigo Comics in the UK. Alan Moore's initial concept behind the series was a Justice League of Victorian England, but he quickly developed it as an opportunity to merge elements from many works of literary fiction into one world.
Were they all in the what do they call that? Not open domain.
Public domain.
They're public domain. Had they all passed into public use?
I think so. Sherlock Holmes is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about literarily, but as far as movies go, Invisible Man is still tied up.
Yeah.
Universal might still own that. That's true.
And that's why this is actually not the Invisible Man. It is an Invisible Man. They make it a point to say that this is not that character in the movie.
Which I liked. I enjoyed that as an aspect of the character.
But you're right. I think everybody else is. Alan Quartermain, I'm sure. I know Dracula is.
Dracula and Quartermain are so old at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay. In Volume 1, it's 1898. Mina Murray divorced from her husband, Jonathan Harker, 1 year after their encounter with Dracula.
That'll put a relationship through some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Woo. She meets with Campion Bond, an MI5 agent who will be the grandfather of James Bond.
Huh.
And it's funny, I thought, I don't know when's appropriate time, I thought the M character was MI5, and that's what we were supposed to think for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think that was the intent.
Yeah. Definitely wanted you to think that.
It was a nod to that.
In Volume 1, there is also an M character who remains mysterious till towards the end.
Gotcha.
Mina Murray actually suspects that it's Mycroft Holmes. So Mina is tasked with assembling selected members for the League, a secret task force whose job is to protect the British Empire from impending threats. And the League has been around for quite some time with other characters in history. What were you going to say, Josh?
I love that they put a woman in charge of filling the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Right.
That just doesn't say it all.
For sure.
All right. Behind every league.
Yeah. It worked in the comics.
Totally. Yeah, I bet.
So Mina is escorted by Captain Nemo to Cairo, Egypt, not Cairo, Illinois, where she locates legendary adventurer Alan Quatermain. Oped to the gills in an opium den.
Nice.
Yep.
Which is the same place they found Sean Connery in 2003.
Right.
Alan dries up somewhat aboard the Nautilus as it travels to Paris in search of one Dr. Henry Jekyll, only to find one Edward Hyde, who they manage to subdue and transport back to England. Mina, Alan, and Nemo next travel to an Edmonton girls' school to investigate 3 cases of immaculate conception, only to find that it is the work of the invisible man Holly Griffin, who's getting rapey with the senior students.
Yeah, they get rapey.
Nah.
Wow.
It turns out that Jekyll no longer needs his formula to transform. It's more like a Hulk thing, and it's triggered by stress.
Good for them because, I have some points about that.
Right.
Yeah. So he'd been like, this was 12 years, I think, after he first created his formula. So his metabolism just turned it into that, where he no longer needed the formula.
Cool.
Jekyll / Hyde and Griffin are promised pardons for their past crimes and may be cured for their conditions.
Jesus. We're gonna overlook all those rapes.
Yeah.
Right.
Those invisible rapes.
It actually
not to mention the murderous monster that murders people.
That's true. Bites heads off.
It actually maybe is a little more of a Victorian Suicide Squad than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
So the aging Nemo and Quatermain stick with the League simply for the love of adventure. Mina, I don't know. Maybe it's duty to England, love of Britain. Maybe because she's seen terror and she just wants to stop it.
Or maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, maybe she's born with it.
Well, again, I have some vampire questions.
Yeah.
This movie brought up a lot of vampire questions.
And if you refer to the New England Journal of Medicine, you will know.
Did anybody making this movie read a fucking book? That's my question.
Did they ever hear of a vampire previously?
It's like, read a book? What? For these literary characters?
Right.
All right. The League now assembled. They ultimately become unwitting pawns in a war between the crime syndicates of Fu Manchu, who in the book was simply called the Doctor for copyright reasons, and James Moriarty, who is also the director of MI5.
See, that's cool. Yeah. I liked that twist. I liked that he was Moriarty.
Yeah.
I just thought he was. Yeah.
A note on Wilhelmina Murray. She was the leader of the group, and she was not a vampire.
Was she transformed from the norm by the nuclear goo? Sorry.
Yeah.
Not a vampire, but all of her other senses are heightened.
Yeah.
So what was she? She was just like a bat, just a spitfire.
Yeah, basically,
just like invulnerable skin.
No, invulnerable emotions.
Her superpowers are being relatively unflappable in the face of terror and being largely underestimated.
Relatively unflappable and largely underestimated.
That is especially at the turn of the century, but even now.
Woo!
Wow. Her superpower is just being a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they deal with crisis better. They're mothers.
She has to do all of the heavy emotional lifting for the group. Yeah.
They're often. Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Good for
Yeah, and I made up those superpowers, or at least the descriptions thereof.
Now.
Thinking of Alan Moore, this is yet another thing with one woman in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just think of Watchmen with there's always just one woman.
Yeah,
like and she does the same thing. She's the emotional heavy lifting.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Moore is a notorious misogynist and many other ists.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this is just not to say that it's subtle in any way, but it's just there. You can just see it,
Yeah, absolutely.
The way he perceives women in general, especially as plot devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Volume 2.
Volume 2 was published from September 2002 until November 2003, and that was a pretty cool retelling of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
Oh, cool.
So this movie came out in sort of the middle of Volume 2's run, and there was a planned sequel based on Volume 2, but that was canceled because this movie sucked.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, that's look, the premise is fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, I love when people team up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool idea. It's too bad they couldn't do that because of the movie sucking.
Yeah.
I mean, there were even aspects of the movie that worked.
Yeah.
It just the script to this thing. Anyways,
it was hokey as fuck, but
yeah,
we'll get to it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't need to go into the books that these characters came from, really. Just want to say, in the comics, Ishmael was the first mate of Captain Nemo.
That's good. It was in the comic. It smacked of last-minute movie shit.
It did a little bit.
With his call me Ishmael. I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah. I was like, they wrote that in for him to say that. But
in the book, Nemo's talking to Ishmael. I think the first time we see him, and Nemo calls him Mr. Mate, and Ishmael says, "Captain, we've known each other long enough. Call me Ishmael."
That's so much.
It's gonna be corny no matter what.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a song form.
I agree. I played Ishmael.
Oh, yes.
Dorian Gray does not appear in the books, though they're on the front cover of the Volume 1 graphic novel. There is a portrait in the background on the wall of the League's headquarters. And there's also a paint-by-numbers piece in the back of the graphic novel.
Of the portrait of Dorian Gray?
Of the portrait of Dorian Gray, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I recommend these books to anyone who has not read them. I finally picked up the first part of Volume 3 at Bookman's just this week. I've read these a million times, and I read them again this week in preparation for this.
Cool. I think it's totally wild that Dorian Gray wasn't in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
No, I got it. I got it.
All right.
So, what was funny was
wild.
It was wild.
Oscar.
Jude kept getting Oscar Wilde and Orson Welles mixed up because of the OW. It was like, so was Orson Welles like out as a gay man? I was like, well, no, he wasn't out.
Orson was.
Oscar was. Yeah, I was like, but
for it.
Yeah, I was like, but Oscar Wilde might have been.
Yeah, he was out and proud for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Is that all you got for us, Al?
Yeah, that's all I got for us. That's the bulk of it, as I know it.
Well, thank you much, sir. That brings us to the movie itself. This was directed by Stephen Norrington, who we have spoken about previously. He directed Blade.
Oh.
He directed 4 movies, period. Death Machine in 94, Blade in 98. He made a movie called The Last Minute in 2001. And then this was his last movie. He quit directing movies because of Sean Connery.
Holy shit.
And wow. Sean Connery quit being in movies because of Norrington.
Yeah.
Really?
They hated working together so much, they both quit the film industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could talk at length, but do you have any nuggets of like what did the either do that really fucking was the last straw?
I wasn't able to find a lot of specifics about it. Brian, I think you mentioned you'd heard like a quote by Connery.
Just that he didn't want to work with assholes like that ever again, essentially, and that was why he was retiring.
I mean, his choice, God bless him, but wow.
Yeah.
You got to be bad to give up a job where you make pretend for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to really get hosed to not want to do that.
Yeah.
I think I recall an anecdote where after a take, Norrington wanted to do another take, and Sean Connery complained, and then Norrington said, like, for $18 million, I think you can do another take.
Woo.
Yeah, good for him.
So yeah, Norrington refused to attend the premiere of the movie, and when asked where he was, when a reporter asked Sean Connery where Norrington was, Connery replied, "Check the local asylum."
Oh, so biting.
Yeah.
We don't have asylums anymore. They're more like inpatient clinics where you're reviewed every 90 days.
The screenplay was by James Dale Robinson. So he's more known for writing comics. Let's see.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. He wrote Miracle Man. He did a run of Terminator, Grendel Tales. He did some Batman ones, Legends of the Dark Knight. He did some Green Lantern stuff. He worked on Starman. He did a lot of DC work.
Well, there's a lot of clunky dialogue in this that I was just like, wow, that's a lousy screenwriter. But it makes sense that he's a comic book writer, because some of these lines, I think he was thinking panel type situations.
Right.
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
He wrote 4 scripts, one called Firearm in 93, Cyber Bandits, something called Comic Book Villains in 2002, and then this one. And then
Comic Book Villains has like Mark Hamill. It has like a bunch of like fanboy cameos. It was like an indie movie set in a comic book store. Sorry, yeah, it's decent.
And he got a story by credit on the Son of Batman.
Oh,
Sean, that brings us.
I just thought of Batman and Sons.
Batman and Sons movers.
Yeah, they put the sign above the Batcave.
It's like bow down loud out down 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 down.
I was doing the My Three Sons theme.
I know.
That one's good.
His name is Bruce Wayne. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sean Connery starred as Alan Quartermain. If you don't know who Sean Connery is, who are you? It's Bond. He's James Bond, the original James Bond. Played James Bond in 3 separate decades. The only actor to do that until our most recent one, if they ever release the next one.
So. Oh, it looks really good.
It does. It looks really good.
I like Bond.
Yeah. Yeah. He won his Oscar for The Untouchables. He's, of course, been in Marnie, Murder on the Orient Express, Name of the Rose, Highlander. He played Henry Jones Sr. in The Last Crusade. This was his last movie, although he did a little bit of voice work in a couple animated things after this. I have
a note on Connery. He had previously passed up working on The Matrix and The Fellowship of the Ring.
God, thank God he was not in either of those.
And he did so because he didn't understand the script.
Right.
So after their success, the success of those movies, he got the script for this one, and because he didn't understand the script, he decided to take it.
Fucking Sean Connery.
No, actually, good on his part. He's all, maybe I should do the opposite.
Yeah. Well, he was up for the role of Gandalf. I cannot imagine.
No way. No fucking way.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
However,
he's not the first person to play Quartermain. Oh, sorry, Al.
No, there was that 80s Alan Quartermain in the Lost Cities of Gold movie.
Rich and King Solomon's Mines. Sharon Stone was in that, but Richard Chamberlain, Australian actor. Yeah.
Quartermain in the Babysitter's Club. I saw that too.
Yep, me too. I know what you did last Quartermain.
Taught them all how to shoot.
Alan, I liked episode 9, The Rise of Quartermain.
Quartermain.
He's been in every big movie. I mean, Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he's always in the back. He's in the background.
Jurassic Park.
So the original script was a little bit closer to the source material. However, Sean Connery refused to play an opium addict, so they had to rewrite it for him.
He's like, I'm a drinker. Everyone knows that.
He doesn't even imbibe in this.
Yeah.
He actually pulls off a good performance. I don't know. But, he does.
Yeah,
but he's got that Brando vibe. You know.
Oh, I mean,
they were told they were geniuses too young in their lives.
Yeah. No, he's just doing Sean Connery. Like that's all he's doing.
Or the character from The Untouchables.
Yeah, exactly. Nasruddin Shah. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. All of our Indian listeners. Played Captain Nemo. He has been in a ton of Indian films, way too many to go through since most of our listeners will never have heard of any of them.
You know what's wild is his, you could really only see his eyes and his, forehead type area. He looked in the eyes just like the dude from The West Wing.
Toby. I kept thinking it the whole time.
Toby. And I thought it was him until the credits, and I was like, that dude doesn't have an Indian name, like the West Wing guy.
Yeah, I kept thinking it was Toby. I was like, where's Bradley Whitford?
Because I was no, not him.
No, I know, but I was waiting for Bradley Whitford.
Oh, you were waiting for Bradley.
Right.
Each other,
Gotcha.
No,
I was so desperately trying to find someone I recognized.
Thank God they didn't.
Toby was Robert Schiff.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Robert Schiff.
Yeah, great actor. Go back and look at his eyes. They both have the same brown eyes.
I'm so glad somebody else said it, because the whole time I kept being like, it's not Toby. It's not Toby.
Glad you saw it too.
No, he totally has those eyes. But
I deserve to be in an asylum.
Nasruddin Shah, however, was in a few Western movies we've heard of. Monsoon Wedding. Let's see. Actually, that might be the only one besides this one. Oh boy, yeah. And Finding Fanny in 2014.
What does that mean?
That's
is it the British term?
Yeah. I don't know, but I think it's a Nemo sequel.
Well, isn't that what they call vaginas?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Peter Wilson played Mina Harker. Let's see. Peter Wilson is best known for being Nikita in La Femme Nikita. Yeah, she was in Superman Returns, so we'll see her again. Let's see. She was in the 96 movie Loser. She's done a lot of television in addition to La Femme Nikita. Let's see. She was in Vanishing Point. CSI Miami.
She was in the TV series.
Yeah.
La Femme Nikita.
Yeah, not the movie.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The movie was an 80s star. We know. I can't remember.
Tony Curran as Skinner, the Invisible Man. He was in. We've seen him before, actually. He was in Blade 2 as Priest. He played Vincent Van Gogh in the Doctor Who episode. He was in Underworld Evolution, Outlaw King.
Well, and he has the exact same voice as Damon Albarn from Blur.
Oh, God.
I feed the birds and I get a feeling of immense satisfaction.
He's got that same, totally.
Yeah, it sounds just like him, especially when there's no image. It's just the voice. Park life.
Yeah. Stuart Townsend played Dorian Gray. Let's see. Stuart Townsend. You've seen him in Wonderland. Queen of the Damned, where he played the vampire Lestat. He was in Aeon Flux. Let's see. Most recently, A Stranger in Paradise. He's done a lot of television work. He's been in Will and Grace. He's Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. He was in Elementary. So, Shane West as your bargain basement Heath Ledger.
Or Emil Hirsch, is that kid's name? Are you talking about Tom Sawyer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Shane West. He has, let's see, he is in Dracula 2000. That
He's
movie
immortal.
was crazy.
What makes 2000 different?
Right. So, okay, this is hilarious. So, okay, so in 2000, he was in A Time for Dancing, Whatever It Takes, Dracula 2000. And then the following year, he was in Get Over It. And in Ocean's 11, he played himself. What?
How?
I don't know.
Dracula 2000 sounds like a DJ that would perform at Coachella, like on one of those side stages or something.
Did you ever see that movie?
Dracula 2000. No.
It was, oh my God, I did. It was
Maybe I did, I don't know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's been in, let's see, Red Sands. His most recent film was Gossamer Folds. He did some time on Picket Fences, Boy Meets World. Oh, he was one of the swimmers in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode Go Fish. He's most recently played Bane on Gotham.
Whoa. Huh.
Okay.
Jason.
He's not Bane yet. I mean, he kind of becomes, but yeah, he's pre-Bane.
Pre-Bane.
I mean, that's the clinical term.
Pre-pubescent.
Scent.
Jason Fleming plays Dr. Henry Jekyll and Edward Hyde. Dual role.
Double duty.
Yeah. Let's see. He was in the 94 Jungle Book, Rob Roy, Stealing Beauty, Spice World, the movie, The Red Violin, Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels. He's been a lot of stuff.
But a lot of overseas stuff. A lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that was, a production or budget thing, or if they just could not find known actors to work with Sean Connery. You know what I mean? Like too many American actors. Like I either worked with them or knew somebody that did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Huh.
Yeah. I did.
Let's see. We will see Jason Fleming again in X-Men First Class. He'll play Azazel. And let's see. He most recently. Let's see. Oh, he was in Pennyworth. And A Christmas Carol, the 2019 miniseries. Richard Roxburgh plays M/the Phantom / Moriarty.
Spoiler alert.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's been in a bunch of television movies throughout the 80s and 90s. Doing Time for Patsy Cline. Ooh. Want to watch that one? Mission Impossible.
I want to see Gossamer Folds.
Right.
And then Finding Fanny.
Let's see. He was in Mission Impossible 2, Moulin Rouge. He played Sherlock Holmes in 2002 in The Hound of the Baskervilles. And then Moriarty in this one. East of Everything. The Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Oh my God, there's a 30 Rock joke. Yeah. Oh my God. The Guardians of Legend.
Yeah, he let's see. He most recently and this year starred in a movie called Go-Karts. I don't know what that's about.
If you say so.
Max Ryan played Dante. That was M's Yeah, that was M's like right.
Oh,
hand.
the guy who hulks out himself.
I think that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who turned invisible at the end? I was so confused by that.
Reed. The closed caption
Sanders.
said Reed.
Yeah, it was Sanderson Reed, the guy from the beginning.
Oh, the guy who went to Kenya to get Alan quartered.
Okay.
That's right.
This whole movie was fucking confusing. But anyways, Max Ryan played Dante, the guy that hulked out at the end. Kiss of the Dragon. He was in the 2008 Death Race. Sex in the City 2.
Sex in the Country.
Right. Then Nigel. Okay, David Hemmings played Nigel. David Hemmings has been working for a long time.
Good for him.
Yeah, 54 he got his start. Jeez, how old was that guy?
Well, I'll be.
He was a kid in 54. Okay. It all makes it adds up. Fine.
So he was a kid once? That checks out.
Yeah, let's see. He's just been in a ton of British stuff. He was in Spy Game in 2001, Equilibrium in 2002, Slapshot 2, Breaking the Ice. He's also a director. He directed Running Scared in 72.
Wow.
Yeah. Just a Gigolo, The Survivor, Key to Rebecca, Dark Horse. He's also a writer. Oh my God.
I don't even know who we're talking about.
Yeah. David Hemmings, Nigel.
Sure, Nigel, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
We're making plans for Nigel.
I don't know. You can throw any British name at me you want.
And then finally, Terry O'Neill played Ishmael. He's mostly a stuntman. Although he let's 2 scenes. Yeah. He was also in Gangs in New York, Call the Conqueror, The Man Who Knew Too Little, Dragonheart, and Conan the Destroyer.
The Man Who Knew Too Little is a sleepy classic. If you haven't seen it, it's great.
I love that movie. That used to be like a late night TV, all night movie. Just play all night.
That's awesome.
So that brings us to the reviews. Again, this period is not available on the internet of Ebert and Roper. They were reviewing movies. I'm sure they reviewed this. Can't find any video clips of it, but he wrote.
I'm sorry. Real quick, I had a couple more just notes on casting or potential casting. Eddie Izzard or Eddie Izzard, I've also heard pronounced. He read for the role of Rodney Skinner in Invisible Man.
Wow, that would have been interesting.
The character of Campion Bond was originally supposed to appear in this, was in the script, and he was to be played by Roger Moore.
Oh, wow. That would have been amazing.
2 Bonds.
Yeah, but they tabled that for the potential sequel that never got made.
Of course.
And, of course, Tom Sawyer was added to the script because the studio thought Americans wouldn't care about the movie unless there was an American character.
They're right.
Yeah.
It's stupid and shitty, but they're right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very stupid.
Yeah.
That's why it took people of color so long to have major productions.
Tom Sawyer annoyed me.
He lacked any Mark Twain. That's why he sucked.
Right.
Well, it was just like American.
Well, and he's the Secret Service.
Well, the American Secret Service. And half the time, his what was supposed to be a Missouri accent almost sounded British to me, like half the time.
Yeah, like he was picking up everybody else's.
Yeah.
I just love picturing him in the Secret Service and him, like, tricking a bunch of Secret Service agents into doing his job.
They're all diving in front of bullets.
They got to paint a fence. They also have to paint a fence.
So, like, McKinley sent him?
Yeah.
Like President McKinley
exactly.
sent him to go
to prevent the World War.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's the obvious choice. He's that much better than everybody else. I don't know. I was very confused by that.
Yeah, the barefoot kid from Missouri. Yeah, definitely go with him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the modern day warrior, mean scribe. Tom Sawyer, mean. Right.
I have a feeling they just heard that song and were like, hey, let's stick him in here.
Yeah, that's him. He's our best, right? He's the best. He's literary.
Should it be him or Huck Finn?
It's like a little too racial. How about the kid who wore clothes?
Wait. Have you guys read Tom Sawyer as adults?
Not as an adult. No.
There are just as many N-words in that as there is in Huck Finn.
Of course there were.
Yeah.
Jude read it on
Mark Twain was the Quentin Tarantino of his time.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't mean it that way. Oh, okay. Sure, Mark.
But there are 400 between the covers.
Yeah, but there's a bunch. It's like the parlance of our time.
Well, yeah, no. And that was the thing, is that was the whole point, was that he was the first one to write in a vernacular.
Yeah. Right.
That's the point of it. For our listeners who are unaware of Mark Twain's literary accomplishments, he was the first American writer to write in a vernacular.
He started the contemporary novel, really.
Yeah, exactly. Jude read Tom Sawyer on his own just recently for the first time, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's awesome.
There was
I can read it.
There was a deleted scene from this movie where Tom Sawyer is talking about his former partner, alluding to Huck Finn, who had gotten killed in the line of duty.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He definitely wasn't talking about Jim.
He's like, he either got killed in the line of duty or decided to just float off down the Mississippi River.
Exactly. I'm going to take this to its natural end.
He faked his own death.
Yeah. Yes, right.
Yeah.
That was Tom, right?
No, that was Huck.
Tom went to his own funeral?
Well, no, yeah. Tom and Huck both faked their own deaths in the Tom Sawyer novel.
Yeah.
Along with, there was a third kid who I can't remember his name.
They were sitting in the attic or something like that.
Yeah, and they were listening to their funeral. I can't remember who the third kid was. Yeah. He was the one that didn't get a book named after him.
Read those.
That came from Mark Twain. Mark Twain often read accounts of him dying, of he himself dying. He has that famous quote, like, I saw papers of my demise, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What's it? The accounts of my death are greatly over-exaggerated.
That's it. Thank you, friend.
Yeah. My favorite Mark Twain is still Next Generation. The double episode.
Well, do you remember that claymation? Oh, I'm going on a tangent. Do you remember the Adventures of Mark Twain? The claymation?
I remember that. Wow.
It's great. It's on Tubi. Check it out. It's like 80s claymation, and Mark Twain and all of his characters are looking for Halley's Comet because Mark Twain was born or died, something like that.
Yeah. He said he was born the year Halley's Comet came and died the year that it came again.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's cute.
And he famously said that he was going to die that year because he said, "I came in with the comet, I'm going out with the comet."
He was all Babe Ruth, calling his shots. Like, damn, I gotta die. I feel fine.
Little did we know that was actually just his ride home. He was from another planet.
Yeah, he was from another planet.
Anyways, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen has 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is our lowest rated one since Spawn.
And then Supergirl was before that, right?
Supergirl was
11%.
Yeah, Supergirl is our lowest rated movie we're ever going to do, unless we count Toxie 2, which has a 0% because nobody was willing to review it. Yes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Roger Ebert for the Chicago Sun-Times wrote, "The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen assembles a splendid team of heroes to battle a plan for world domination, and then, just when it seems about to become a real corker of an adventure movie, plunges into incomprehensible action, idiotic dialogue, inexplicable motivations, causes without effects, effects without causes, and general lunacy. What a mess."
He's not wrong. I thought the effects were good. I thought it was fun to look at.
Yeah.
I liked immediately how the opening titles, they kept the 20th century sign.
Yeah.
And then just started to, the very first closed caption is "steam hisses." That's why I was wondering about the steampunk thing. But yeah, I thought it was fun to look at. I even thought like Hyde's transformation was.
Yeah, it all held up pretty well for 2003 CGI. Yeah.
Well, but he is right about there are a lot of things that they don't justify It's all very quick. It changes course very quickly.
The first 45 minutes of this movie are very different from the last 45 minutes of this
absolutely,
movie.
And none of it makes sense or hangs together at all.
No, the first 2 acts are about stopping World War One.
Yeah,
and then that's sort of abandoned. I mean, of course, if Moriarty had his way. You know what I mean? But it stopped. It left dialogue, and then never came back.
And I'm gonna have a lot to say about the entire Venice sequence because none of that made a fucking lick of sense.
I was confused visually.
However, I will say that Da Vinci's Blueprints is my new band name.
You're right. Oh, wait, and I wanted to point out, it kept reminding me of something, Moriarty's plan. And I finally realized what it was. He has the same plan as the dude in Steel did. He's going to sell weapons to both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Turtles. That Turtles movie?
Yes.
Oh, and G.I. Joe.
And G.I. Joe.
And G.I. Joe.
Yes. They all just wanted to start a war and sell weapons to both sides.
And now we do that legally, and it's awesome.
Yeah. America.
It's become reality.
We are the Taliban, and we're like, hey, you guys want to play war?
Right. Whoops.
So this movie actually got 12 nominations for awards.
Razzies.
No Razzies, but I wrote down 5 of my favorites. There were 2 nominations from the Golden Schmoes. One for Worst Movie of the Year and another for Biggest Disappointment of the Year.
Nice.
And then there were 3 nominations from the Stinker Awards. Least Special Effects, Most Intrusive Musical Score, and Worst On-Screen Group, titling it The League of the Hopelessly Miscast.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of chemistry.
No, it was pretty bad.
And that probably comes from Connery. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Every team looks to their captain.
No. Yeah. And every time that man was on screen, he sucked all the air out of the proverbial room. It was Connery or nothing.
Yep. Yeah, and it wasn't a chewing scenery type thing. It was just nobody gets to...
Nobody out Connery's me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, are you ready to jump into the movie?
Yep.
Here we go. This is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We open on London, 1899. There's a scroll about the weapons of war changing with the new century. Then a bunch of bobbies witness a tank bursting out of a building. It runs roughshod through London, breaks into a bank, and German soldiers emerge, along with a mysterious figure in a fur coat with a cane. Is it Bender? No.
No, it's either the Undertaker or Bad Santa.
Yeah.
I love the Bobby who just stood in front of the tank holding up his hand saying halt in the name of Allah.
That's the most British thing I've ever seen.
They're so confused by it. There's a guy who shouts, there's men inside. What did you think it was? Like a rolling rock or something?
Right.
Are they that confused by this machine?
Did you think it was alive? It's not a water buffalo.
Yeah.
And the bobbies, after the one guy gets run over, the rest of them are running alongside it, hitting it with their sticks.
Right. They've never seen a machine before. It's pretty, it's not that different from a train. Would you try to stop a train?
Yeah.
Well, and did you say the line? They're like, there's men inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's why? What? Yeah, it's just so confusing.
There's men inside. That's what she said.
Yeah, he's never seen a tank before, but he's more likely to believe that that's a living thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
tanks weren't really invented at this point in history.
No, but large metal machines were invented.
Yeah, like you said, trains exist. It's
why is your inclination that it's a living thing or self-automated?
Yeah, this isn't the 1100s.
I will say the detail of that thing was really cool, and the fact that it shot the door open, rapid fire succession, was surprising to me. I expected it just to knock the door down, but to be like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
was impressive. They did some neat stuff with it. Whoever their shop was doing a great job.
Yeah. And running through the Bank of England, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the effects and the action in this sequence definitely were fine. They were great.
Yeah.
Let's see. We get a newspaper thing. They don't spin, but they might as well.
Did anyone catch the headline? Not us, says Germany.
Yeah.
They'll bring that up again.
Germany. Germany. You rascals.
The Kaiser. He's like, I don't know.
Oh, it's not us.
It's like, we were just drinking in Bavaria.
That's all. We just wanted a little party.
Yeah, so the British blame the Germans, and the same mysterious figure is using British soldiers to kidnap German scientists and destroy some dirigibles for some reason.
To put them out of commission, right?
And Al, you're a scientist.
Wouldn't have an air force.
No one's walking away from that, right?
No, they're indoors. They are fucked.
Yeah, they. I don't know. That hydrogen went up a little too slowly, I think. But I don't know. I had an issue with the bazooka harpoon that he used to shoot the balloon. I don't know. There's just there. I suppose if he had used a a firearm, then he would have definitely blown up sooner, and not walked away. But it was just weird. Like, why did it have the cable? It was just, I don't know, the right weapon for the right job or something.
Here's my question: why were they keeping numerous human carrying sized dirigibles indoors? How are they going to get those outside to travel across Bavaria?
They had like a roof that would open.
The roof would
open. That's
like the Astrodome.
Yeah, but that's not a good place to keep them all. I guess if you're
all together,
letting the British
hydrogen.
I wanted someone to yell, "My balloons!"
my beautiful.
We get more newspapers about Europe being on the brink of war. Then we're in Kenya. It's June.
You have to read a lot in this movie.
Thank God they told us it was. They made a point of letting us know it's June in Kenya.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they were implying that it's 6 months before the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm.
That was how I read that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. A British man walks into a bar and tries to recruit an agent. Alan Gordon.
Okay. He was obviously bad, right?
He seemed it. Yeah.
Clearly.
He seemed like a bad guy immediately.
Yeah, I thought he was up to something.
Absolutely. He tries to recruit an aged Alan Quatermain into the service of the British Empire to stop a world war. Quatermain refuses. Then they're attacked by armored men with automatic rifles. Alan...
I want to point out that Sean Connery got to do a chair turnaround James Bond.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the dude's standing there, he realizes it's not Quatermain, and he's like, dun, dun, dun. He doesn't spin the chair around, but he comes out from it was great.
What I found really...
If he was petting a cat, it would have been fantastic.
So that was clearly like his buddy, right? That was pretending to be him. And then when his old friend gets shot, he just says, "Wrong Quatermain."
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
He's ride or die. He understands, dude. Life is a circle, and it's finite.
Time
is
a
tiger.
At the same time,
time is a
tiger gets more vicious, right?
Time is a flat circle.
But yeah, he had that dude. That's an explorers club. We've all seen DuckTales, so we're familiar with it.
Yes.
He's just cutting beer cans in the back corner.
But yeah, he has his buddy who has to deal with that storytelling seekers stories.
So Alan takes out all of the attackers except the last, who commits suicide rather than be captured. And Quatermain...
I'm sorry again. One of the British bartender, he's like, unsporting, probably Belgian.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at that time, King Leopold was devastating the Congo.
Yeah. All right, so that's not so funny. All right.
Interesting commentary. One colony commenting on another,
Yeah.
as they are in Africa. Just like we're just peacefully drinking cocktails in our plantation here.
We didn't take over this at all. Yeah. They invite.
Yeah, we're not invaders. They love us being here.
Benevolent, yeah. Rule Britannia. He literally says "Rule Britannia." He kills the guy with the flag.
I love any time in a movie or show where somebody says "God save the Queen" and everybody has to stand up and say it at the same time. It's almost like an improv game.
Yeah.
So all right. So Quatermain agrees to go back to England to help. He arrives in the midst of a typical British summer. I liked that, the little jab at the English weather.
The weather, yeah.
And they pointed out here that it was July.
Yes.
And I think the June, July was just meant to show how long it would take to get from Kenya to England.
Yeah, right. Because they make a lot about 4 days to get to Venice.
Right.
Well, that was such a huge thing with the industrial age. Like Brian was talking about earlier, trains, we've always been trying to figure out a way to get from A to B comfortably and faster. Yeah. But those were mostly the innovations.
And there are some serious questions about fast travel in this movie that we will get to later.
I think so.
Mongolia.
The sword is as large as the Titanic, just careening around Venice.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And then from Venice to Mongolia in 2 days, it seemed like.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I can make it around the world in 80.
Right. It's just like you're just driving a Stutz Bearcat, it's still a car.
So he finds himself in a secret headquarters of a secret agency called the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He's greeted by a man named M, who is in charge. Captain Nemo arrives. He and Quatermain exchange pleasantries, and then M explains the attacks and tells them they are being carried out by a man named the Phantom, who's trying to create with an F.
F-A-N-T-O-M.
Yeah, Phantom. Which is
make sure you attend Phantom 1998.
I was going to say
special guest Dean Cain.
Which is the screen name of what Tom posts about the MCU. So yeah.
Well, I just Phantom, no relation to the Phantom with Billy Zane.
No,
right. I don't want to get sued.
No, for using another public domain character.
Right.
So yeah, let's see. He tells them that the leaders of Europe are meeting in Venice in the last attempt to avert the World War. They've got 4 days. An invisible man makes himself known. His name's Rodney Skinner. He's a thief that's been recruited. He can't turn himself visible again, but the British Empire offers a cure if he helps.
Wait, so was the impetus for war in this movie supposed to be that attack on the Bank of England and not the assassination of... because that...
Of Franz Ferdinand?
Right. How do you plan...
I think it was supposed to be the bank attacks first.
Okay,
that's why flame up war immediately.
Yeah, the Germans
cooler heads prevailed.
Right,
in the newspapers.
because he had fake Germans attacking Britain, then he had fake British attacking Germany.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Well, that still laid the groundwork for the eventual World War. I'm assuming in 1914 or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's good storytelling. Cool. Thank you.
So Mina Harker arrives. She's a chemist. Alan's a misogynistic asshole for a while. M tells them they have 2 more members to recruit. Sean Connery's I don't need any women. I've buried 2 wives and numerous lovers, and I don't need another.
All 4 of which were dead. He just buries people.
It's like, it's my kink.
Pretend we're at the beach.
At the beach, just burying their feet. It's like, it's such a nice day.
There's a subreddit for it.
Okay. But yeah, that just seemed like Sean Connery talking, honestly.
I think it was. I think he's like, go warm up my haggis.
He's riffing. Kept it in.
It's all bitches. Am I right? Bitches be shopping.
They take the.
There were a couple small details just on. So they say Mina Harker. So she's kept her husband's last name. They also tell us that her husband Jonathan has been dead for years. The difference between the comic where they actually got divorced and she reverted back to her maiden name.
Has anyone read Dracula recently enough that they remember what happened to the Harkers in the actual novel?
No, I read it as a teen.
Yeah.
What did?
I read it back in college the last time. I'm pretty sure they survived, but they didn't have like they survived the experience and went back to England. But beyond that, no, I don't think they mentioned anything about them living happily ever after.
Because Harker's telling this story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's like a diary.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So let's see. They take the world's only car to Dorian Gray's house.
I'd also like to the invisibility effect.
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't bad.
When they were inside, it looked great. When they were using actual effects, but then when they get in the car, okay, before he puts the grease paint on his face and you can't see his neck. And that's even like right before they get in the car when they're outside. There's still invisibility spots on his neck. But then they get in the car and it's just a dude with his face painted. They're not doing any effects. You can also
I didn't catch that.
You can
really?
see
oh my god, it was so distracting.
You can see the back of his neck that was unpainted before. Now it's painted, and also you can see the pink of the insides of his ears and his nostrils.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame.
They went back, and the thing is they cut back and forth between doing an effect and not doing effect within the scene over and over again. It was so distracting.
It was very frenetic, so maybe I didn't catch it. I don't know. Maybe it was just. But that's no good.
Well, and his makeup, like he would go for he'd wipe the makeup off his face in like a second and then turn around and like after the action scene's done and he's just completely repainted again already as he's like putting his coat on.
Yeah. Well, and at the end, he's standing out in wherever they are, Antarctica or the North. What's the North Pole?
Mongolia.
Mongolia. That's right, Mongolia. Well, anyways, when he rejoins the crew, he's standing out in the snow. And so he's completely invisible. So we're supposed to think or assume that he has no clothes on.
Well, he says so. He says, "I'd like to remind you I'm completely naked. I can't feel my extremities. Any of my extremities." Yeah.
Well, you would die.
Yes. Yes, you would. Yes. So, all right. So Dorian doesn't want to join the group, but they're attacked by the Phantom and his gang in Dorian's library.
Just before they get out of the car at the East London docks, there's a panning shot, and on the side of the building, there are 3 Easter egg posters. One of them says "Eruptions on Mars may be volcanoes."
Yeah, I just saw Mars may be volcanoes.
The one in the middle said "An evening of extraordinary entertainment with Mr. Alan Moore and Mr. Kevin O'Neill." So at least they got a shout out there. And next to that, there was an advertisement for a crime story called "Found Guilty," and I think that's made up, but this may not be. I don't know. But that advert was printed in Volume 1. Is one of the extra pages.
The Mars one, I assume, is a tease for the presumed sequel, right?
Yeah, right. John Carter.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry. This was the third poster. No one can. Our listeners can't see that, but that was printed almost exactly on that third poster.
Okay. Very cool.
Cool.
So all right. So they're helped with the attack by an American agent, Tom Sawyer, who has disguised himself as one of the Phantom's men. They manage to fight off the baddies.
So he is Secret Agent Sawyer of the American Secret Service, or SAS of Ass.
So they managed to fight off the baddies, although the Phantom makes an escape. Mina reveals she's a vampire, das Vampir, turned by Dracula.
The devil's concubine.
Dorian reveals he's immortal, and then he decides to join the crew. They take Tom Sawyer along with them because he's got a gun.
He has a gift for Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gives him a Winchester, or he promises him a Winchester. He's like, oh, you're in.
Yeah. I thought that was very American and clever. That was like one moment that I went, oh, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
For sure. Let's see. They go to Paris.
I'm sorry. Quartermain gives him credit for being an American. Like you just shoot all your bullets and hope to hit something.
Yeah,
that was totally.
Yeah, very
Scarface style.
When Mina reveals, she tells the story about Dracula, and she pulls down her neck to show the 2 bite marks that are still there. So in volume 2, it's revealed that Mina's scarf conceals some rather horrific scarring, just like all around her neck. It looks a lot like burned flesh.
Well, because Dracula kept her. He would keep certain people alive, like Renfield. Well, no, he never turned Renfield. I'm sorry, but like would feed off the same human without killing them or turning them for a long time. Anyway, sorry. So it was all scarred up. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was all scarred up, and she has the line, "Not quite the 2 discrete puncture marks of legend, are they?" And that issue was published 5 months prior to this movie. And I'm wondering if they hadn't already read the script and included that detail as a big middle finger to the film.
Right.
Because they were just 2 little puncture marks.
Or, well, yeah, exactly. Like in the script, they had the 2 little puncture marks.
Yeah.
But neither Alan Moore or Kevin O'Neill, they were both highly disappointed with the way that this movie did not stick to the original script or the original source material.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like Connery had a lot of say. But so one thing they also didn't tell us is that Mina, after she divorces Jonathan, she marries Blade, and that's why she's a day walker, right?
Exactly. She's just outside in the day.
She just has some of that white shoe polish shit, and she's just putting it on her face too.
Sunblock, another innovation.
Right. So, and does she need to feed to stay alive then? Because she doesn't seem to really have any bloodlust. She just uses it to fight.
And then, Dorian actually thinks he killed her by stabbing her in the stomach, and they point out that it wasn't the heart. So they're definitely sticking with that vampiric point. But yeah, she's in and out of the sun. They didn't even.
She's like.
Did they mention that?
No, they never mentioned the sun. Not once.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, the whole her being a vampire is only when it's convenient.
Yeah, they didn't even stick to the parameters in the book she's from.
No, not even close.
Maybe it was just overcast the whole time.
It was pretty bright out when she was standing on the top deck of the Nautilus later.
Yeah, that was full sunlight.
And when they were in Mongolia, it was very bright.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, reflecting off the
Yeah. So all right. So they go to Paris on Nemo's submarine. We all live on Nemo's submarine. Where
it's nice to have a rich friend.
Yeah,
it was so huge.
Oh my God, it was gigantic.
Yeah, it was ridiculously huge. In the comic books, they didn't make it didn't seem as ridiculously huge as it seems here in the comic. They also did a cool thing where they made the Nautilus actually look more like a Nautilus, the cephalopod.
Ah.
I was going to say there was also a shot where the nautiloid, the little pods, the exploration pods, they pan by and you just see the white. Usually it's silver, but it was white. Anyways, it looked like Moby Dick. It looked like a white whale with the big eyeball.
Huh.
panning. So yeah, the cephalopod too. I see that.
Huh. So
and those exploration pods had like jellyfish type tendrils that came down.
You put the razor blade like propellers on it.
Yeah, but Al's right. The Nautilus should have been more that size. You know, maybe 3 times the size of one of the exploration pods, but not as giant as a steam liner.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a freaking Carnival cruise they were on.
I love the Disney version. Oh,
it was way too big to make it believable that it can go the places that it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
And stealthily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I liked the version from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, to be honest, when I was a kid. I thought their design of the ship was pretty cool. It almost looked like our anglerfish, kind of.
Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, so let's see. They capture Mr. Hyde, who's busy rampaging. They take him aboard the sub, chain him up, offer to let him return to London in return for his help. He changes back into Jekyll in degrees. This is the point where Dorian scratches the Invisible Man. They head to Venice. On the way, Alan gives Tom shooting lessons, tells him about his dead son. Tom tries to flirt with Mina. Quartermain finds Invisible Guy sneaking around his room. Mina makes out.
Around this time, we find out that Phantom's name is James.
Yes, that's. Oh, yeah. The one guy yells, James.
That dude's name is James.
James Phantom.
Peter Wilson did a Sean Connery impersonation.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I found that to be the funniest part of the whole movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is by far the funniest part of the whole movie. Do you think he was upset when he saw that in the movie?
Well, okay, I have. So Sean Connery actually called her and said it was that he liked it, said it was great, and she didn't believe him at first, but he said, "No, no, it's terrible. It's the worst impersonation I've ever heard, and it's perfect."
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
I do want to make a point about the Nautilus that cracked me up. And of course there's a logical explanation, but I love when it's breached and it's above the water and they're all out on the different decks with bowls of fruit and deck chairs and stuff. And I just pictured like, dive! And just dive. I'm just constantly losing deck chairs and bowls of fruit.
Yeah, I was very confused when they came all the way out of the water because how much more of that boat is underwater?
Right? That's huge. That boat is giant.
Because there's still some of that boat under the water, and how the hell are they going to go anywhere?
Right.
So yeah. Okay. So
so you had mentioned Tom and Dorian both trying to hit on Mina.
Yeah.
On the deck. In the comics, there was actually a love connection between Mina and Alan.
Well, and yeah, well, and he mentions like he doesn't need another wife or lover, and like she exists only as a plot device.
Yes.
For them to use. She is not actually a character of any sort.
We don't even get any character dialogue or development from Jekyll before we learn that he's heartbroken. You know what I mean? Like that he likes Mina and his affections are not reciprocated. It's like they didn't even share an on-screen scene. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, she's just the only woman. So everyone
also,
is just...
Obviously, everyone on the submarine is down to clown with Mina.
Right.
Most submarines.
Meanwhile, she's a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't she,
she's not even human anymore.
Nope.
Right? Shouldn't she be very... She should be the most dangerous person on that boat. But no. They're just like...
Yeah, for real.
She could take out Hyde. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she...
And I'd like to point out that I thought Hyde looked stupid.
He did. At times I didn't mind, but yeah.
It looked...
It was just ridiculous.
I really liked the practicality of how they did it. It was really neat.
I mean,
that was something
look
that I
like
enjoyed.
that actor. I don't know.
There were a couple of times where he was physically in scenes with other people and like looming over them, and I was like, it feels kind of like a chicken walker in Return of the Jedi, you know, where they look real wobbly.
Yeah.
Was he just in a big rubber suit? Were those just big rubber arms?
No, that was all CGI.
Well, there were parts where he was in a big rubber suit where he had like physical stuff on him.
Oh, okay.
And they were green screening him and green screening the other people.
Oh,
and
okay.
Composite shotting where they would be in a group and his arm would be coming down to make him look really big. Like if I could do it on the thing, make his arms look really big.
Yeah.
So there were some things that were practical, like just angle things that looked really good. More than just angles, but like green screen angle, that kind of stuff. I thought was neat.
When it went full CGI and he was hopping around, though, it looked pretty bad.
That was where it became a problem. But they did such a good job with the practical aspects of it, I thought, which is a shame because they spoiled all of that goodwill with Spider-Man Hulk action. You know,
yeah.
They wanted to get in on that.
They did. Yeah, they did. Hopping around. Roof to roof.
In the comics, Hyde looked more monstrous than he does here. He doesn't really look like Jekyll at all, like in facial features. Right. In the comics, he actually looked more like the guy Dante at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Ghastly.
The bigger guy.
Yeah. Huh.
Right. But yeah, looked more monstrous and looked like he would bite your face off.
Well, and it mostly looks like he's exposed muscle and arteries, and you know what I mean. Like you took the skin away.
Yeah,
anatomy model.
Well, I mean, I just realized
which would make more sense. Yeah, like you grow so fast, your skin's all.
Well, I just realized he looks like red and devilish, and his name's Dante.
Yeah, layered. It's like Shrek.
In the comics, he wasn't so red and devilish. He was more of just a dark brown. But
elk tongue.
Like over tanned. I don't know. As opposed to this Hyde who looks Irish, and he's
just like he actually just looks like kind of your average Irishman.
He can't,
like an Irish cop from.
Tan at all, but like the facial structure of the bigger guy at the end was more similar to the books.
All right. So, they head to Venice. They do all that stuff. Hyde discovers a vial of his monster juice has been stolen. He does some Gollum talking.
Hey, when that happens,
I hate that. Yeah, when I carry it around in my suitcase, unprotected,
unlocked, unsupervised. Someone steals one of your monsters.
I understand he's addicted, but like, I got to bring all these separate little one dose ready to go, like 5-hour energy. But I love in Venice when they're in the car.
A monster energy drink.
A monster energy. That's hilarious. But they're in the car, and Jekyll's like, he's like, I can't help. And Dorian Gray's like, what good are you? And they speed away. It just had such a stay out of Riverdale kind of vibe to it.
We're going shopping. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, let's see. Jekyll blames Invisibility, assuming he's a spy for the Phantom. And then they figure out that the Phantom is going to plant bombs underneath Venice to destroy the city and spark a world war. They arrive in Venice just as the bombs begin to go off, and this is my understanding. They realize that the bombs are exploding in sequence, causing buildings to collapse in a domino effect, and if they can destroy a key building, they can stop the bomb chain. Is that what everyone else got?
No.
Yeah.
No. The collapse chain, not the bomb.
Yes, the collapse chain.
Okay, wait. So, all right.
Which makes sense.
No. Does it?
Yeah, it doesn't.
No, it
makes sense.
Why it makes sense, but
so
if you so if you have dominoes and you take out one or two, then the one that's falling forward will just fall.
No, I understand the domino effect, but I don't understand how that works with buildings exploding.
I didn't mean sense. Oh, it's all making sense? No. Sorry.
So their plan is to blow up the next building that's about to blow up so that it won't make further buildings blow up.
See, that's what I think is,
From my understanding, at that point, the bombs were not still going off.
Right. They were all in one area.
All the bombs had gone off, and that in one spot, and that was causing the.
But they're
collapse.
still not
Destroyed all the buttresses underneath the water, keeping all the buildings up.
So how is blowing?
Effect.
How is sending a missile into a building going to and blowing it to hell going to stop the collapse of the further buildings? How is it going to stop the collapse of the buttresses underneath it?
It's to prevent the further buildings from falling down.
I understand the purpose, but how is it going to do that? How is it blowing up a building with a missile going to accomplish that?
The scenario at this point, the bomb had already gone off.
No, I'm not. I'm not even worried about the bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So
then you're left with the domino effect.
Venice.
Not all the buttresses of each building was destroyed just in that area because it just took one building to fall.
Right. I get that, but then they're falling one after another. Which I don't believe that would happen, but whatever.
Right.
So they're falling in order. So the buttresses underneath that are holding them up out of the water are collapsing. How is exploding that building going to prevent the buttresses underneath it from collapsing and then continuing to allow them to collapse?
Because the buttresses that were miles ahead of the bomb.
How is blowing up that building going to stop the buttresses from collapsing?
It doesn't work as a firewall in my brain either. I'm with you through. I'm so confused by it being a thing that they are 100% confident.
It makes.
Yeah, I mean,
it is the most ridiculous plan I have ever heard. It makes no sense and it's dumb.
You're right. But we're just going in circles because we've answered your question, I think.
No, I understand what they said was going to happen, but
I don't understand how it will stop the collapse without starting the other buildings collapsing.
Right, you're just collapsing the building yourself instead of allowing the domino effect to collapse it.
That's the thing that I.
I guess in my mind, I'm picturing like an implosion where the one you intentionally blow up sort of goes straight down rather than.
No, they just shot a missile into it.
I just feel like it's going to make all the buildings explode.
Yeah, I don't know why they were in Venice. I mean, I know the conference. It's an insurance.
Yeah.
But yes, the whole Venice show.
Like why weren't the bombs under the people?
Right.
Yeah. Right, in that big square where Carnival is being celebrated.
Right. Yeah, apparently all of these all right, I'll just read because there's more. There's so much more in Venice. Which is their tourism slogan now.
There's so much more. And what's hilarious is there's a lot less.
Right.
With each passing year.
All right. Tom, Alan, Mina, and Dorian take off in the car to signal to Nemo to shoot off a rocket at the appropriate target with a flare gun. They have to get past gunmen who are all up along buildings, which I assume are going to shortly collapse.
No, I'm kidding. I don't fucking care.
And then along the way, they lose Dorian. Alan happens to spot the Phantom in a random alleyway they pass.
Because that jacket he wears, the coat he wears.
Right? And why is the Phantom in the middle of a city he's blowing up?
Yeah, good point.
That's why he spells it that way. He shoots from the hip. You don't compare him to other Phantoms.
So yeah.
This isn't your dad's Phantom.
Quartermain goes after him. By the way, the number of people that just jump out of a car that's going like 45 miles an hour and start running.
Yeah.
They've never seen a car before. They figure it's like a horse. You can just jump off.
You can't just jump off a horse.
Break your neck. Yeah, right.
Jump on or off a horse very easily.
When Mina exits the car, at least she has enough sense to turn into bats.
Right.
Yeah. No, that it goes paper, rock, scissors, bullets, bat.
Yeah.
Beats bat.
Well, and I love the one and only time like she like gets vampy there. So she turns into the bats and her like voice goes like, "Let me take care of these."
Yeah.
So Quartermain goes after the Phantom while Tom goes to the building to set off the flare. They launch the missile. So, okay.
There's a wicked car jump.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there's a wicked car jump.
They Nemo loses his car, by the way.
Yeah.
It probably floats. It's probably fine. Oh yeah, no, it got blown up.
So there goes my insurance premiums.
Right. So the second Tom Sawyer sets off the flare gun, which is not something I ever expected to say, Captain.
He gets out of the car and sets off the flare gun.
Right.
Sawyer gets out of the car.
Tom Sawyer jumps the car, sets off the flare gun.
And then he hightails into Lollapalooza.
He sets off the flare in mid-car jump, yeah.
The second he does that, Nemo fires off the missile. So the missile was pre-aimed, it seems like, because he sees the flare and he's like, shoot! They don't do any aiming.
No, so there's a tracker in the car, and the flare is for the timing. Shoot it when you see the flare.
Okay, so it's
we'll put the car into the building.
Okay, all right.
Quartermain laid out the rules for that pretty clearly.
So if you remove 2 dominoes.
But then you shoot a missile if you shoot a missile at the table with all the dominoes on it, they're all going to fall over.
And Carnival's ruined.
Right? Yeah, and Venice is in the middle of their carnival, and there's the conference.
Also, this giant ass ship is going to displace so much water into Venice itself just by being there.
The ship is in the middle of Venice.
They ruined the party immediately upon their arrival.
All right. So they launch the missile. They blow up.
Why Venice? Why not England or something? This channel is huge.
No, I was going to say that they first go from England to Paris. That thing is the English Channel,
right?
Which is not very long. If you've crossed it.
No. Okay. This movie kept making me think of Night Boat from that Simpsons episode. There's always a channel or a fjord.
Canal.
Or a river. They go up a river into the middle of Mongolia, which is a landlocked country.
Yeah. A river.
And very high.
Yes.
They're going up a river very high.
Up a river in a boat the size of the Titanic.
Yeah.
The boat is like 5 stories tall.
Their science is implausible. I don't get it.
Okay, so
just scale on the ship is so frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's just make it a third of the size and it would still be cool and impressive.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It all seems to be one deck. All right, go ahead.
Okay, and now we get. Go ahead, Al.
I was just going to say, commenting on the size, especially in Venice. It was just too stupidly big to be plausible.
They should have been in one of those little eyeball things, and it should have gotten stolen from the port.
But for their stupid storytelling, it had to be big enough to see over the buildings of Venice. But you're right, that would then displace all the water.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
destroying the buttresses themselves.
Venice isn't the water under Venice isn't that deep.
No,
they're not in the middle of the ocean.
That's how shit can hold it up. You think they built it's a half a mile concrete?
But they also couldn't go any further into the city. They had to stop because that arch was there, and it was too low for them to go any further.
Get stuck.
Yeah.
Well, if only they were in some sort of vehicle that could submerge.
Only you're sitting on the bottom. I can see the top of your head.
Okay, so all right, so this is the point where the first person should have. This is the first time in the movie where someone really should have just been dead based on the events that happened on screen, but somehow miraculously wasn't. When Tom Sawyer is inside the building as the missile hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they're all fictional characters was what I took that as. not in the sense of them in this movie, but in the world of the movie.
Like, see, you can explain you can explain this away by movies being fake.
Yeah, I feel like the subtext was this is bullshit.
Well, like they're not even real. They're from books themselves. It's like Captain America.
They're extraordinary.
Yeah.
No, but
you're right.
I guess
We're supposed to believe that,
frustrating.
though. We're supposed to believe that.
Yeah,
but no,
I was like,
they never.
What are Dorian's powers really?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and Tom Sawyer just walks into frame a little bit later, dusting his jacket off. I saw that building explode. At the very least, your clothes would be burned off.
Or wet. You know?
Right, something. He's just dusting himself off. Got a little bit of building missile residue on myself.
Got a touch of the missile.
The Mistleys.
We're supposed
We call
to
him.
believe that he made it out in time and didn't get blown up.
But we didn't see it at
He
all.
was.
we
He was
didn't.
in
Look,
the
He's like
building
crawling
when
out of
it.
the car.
Thoreau has a
and
lot
then
of
it
problems with the
explodes.
Venice.
Venice
Out of
drove
Venice.
me nuts. Which is
I thought-
there are other tourism.
We got out
slogans.
of Venice, and I literally thought the movie had like 15 more minutes left in it because I was so frustrated. This part dragged on so long.
All right, so
You're
okay.
getting that feeling we haven't named. But I love that Nemo. They're like, "What's that?" Nemo's like, "It's my exploration pod." That's what I called my bedroom in middle school.
Okay, so Alan and the Phantom play some hide and seek in a graveyard. Were there? It looks like there were graves in the ground. Did I missee that?
Oh my God,
In
you're
Venice?
right. In Venice, no way. Not even in New Orleans. If you're under sea level, you can't bury them in. Oh my God.
Wow.
Um,
I'm writing my congressman. This movie. The bullshit fantasy.
right. Meanwhile, back at the sub, Dorian arrives, shoots Ishmael, revealing himself to be the spy.
Why is the first mate shoveling coal in this giant apparatus full of people?
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, he should be on the bridge giving orders. You never,
right, or receiving them, or you get the second. It would be like Riker.
Yeah,
go clean the
shoveling coal.
Shoveling dilithium crystals.
the
big pile.
Into a giant oven in the Enterprise.
16 tons. And what do you get?
He was like, I'm glad we put Geordi down here.
He has the right rhythm.
He was in Roots.
Yeah, he was.
He should be down here shoveling the coal. Anyways.
And keeping our spirits up.
With a spiritual. All right. Meanwhile, in the graveyard, Alan and the Phantom tussle. The Phantom is revealed to be M.
Instead of his son, I thought it was going to be something like that.
Yeah.
I thought his son was going to come back and be like, you screwed me, father-in-law.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. It could have been his son.
Yeah.
They mentioned his son. Lots of people mention his son because obviously it's a sore spot with him. But they mentioned him enough that I thought he was going to appear.
Yeah. You thought it was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't.
I was wrong. This is better. I guess. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
I like the Moriarty thing. I thought it was cool.
The fewer things in this movie, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The less buttresses, the better. The navigation apparatus on the sub was pretty cool.
That was
It was like chrome little. That was
looked very Superman, Kryptonian.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so
the team was already big enough in the comics. There were 5 of them, but this movie decided to throw in 2 more. There was just too many characters.
There was a lot. There was a whole lot.
Anyway.
All right, so the League regroups. Q tells them about M. Then Ishmael tells them about Dorian before dying. He stumbled out in like the most cliched movie death ever. It's like I'm gonna stumble all the way from down in the middle of the boat.
The steerage,
right?
The very bottom.
Right, and all of the other seamen are just looking at him and be like, "Whoa, that dude got shot."
Yeah,
as he stumbles past them.
I don't know if we have elevators yet, but
because he wasn't helped out.
The stairs.
Yeah, he wasn't helped out by anybody. So that means all the crew members were just watching their first mate bleed out as he tries to.
They're all standing around like, now we're not going to be able to move because that one dude shoveled all the coal. Thanks a lot.
They witness Dorian escaping in a pod, and then they all board the Nautilus to give chase. In the sub, they find a secret record that Dorian left. He's like,
dropped his mixtape.
Right?
This was Moriarty, or this, we'll find out it's Moriarty, but this was M and Dorian's first duet album.
Right.
And it didn't make it to platinum, but it did go gold.
It was M featuring Dorian Gray.
Right? Yeah, I was going to say Dorian was more of a featured rapper.
And I forgot to mention it, but one of my most hated lines of dialogue is between Mina and Dorian, where Mina's like, we found this small magnesium, whatever it is. She's
Phosphorus.
like, phosphorus. Yes, of course. That's the... But she's like, photographers use it. He's all, a camera, perhaps? Fuck you. Back to your room, dude.
Since you brought it up, I'd like to point out that the flash powder that old photographers used was actually magnesium chlorate.
Ooh, thank you, Al.
Another problem.
Dropping some science.
Ben is just going and going.
Magnesium phosphorus, not really a thing. There is a magnesium phosphate, which is a dietary supplement for.
Yeah, it's milk. No, it's milk of magnesia, right? I don't know. Okay, it's not important.
So okay. So let's see. On their mixtape, they reveal that Dorian teamed up with M because M has his magic picture. He tells them he stole the potion, collected Mina's blood and a skin sample from Skinner, took pictures of the sub. He plans on using science to gain their powers to sell to people. Also, there's a high-pitched sound on the record that sets off Hyde and bombs. It begins to sink. Then Jekyll, after a pep talk from Hyde, Green Goblin style, turns into his alter ego and goes into the bowels of the ship to vent the water somehow.
Yeah, that had been like jammed or whatever. It didn't deluge, whatever the word is.
I think they had some pumps to clear water.
A ship that size would.
Certain chambers, but the sailors just couldn't get to it because it was already underwater. So they put it in a bad spot.
Yeah, they should have put it on the they should have put it on the top of the ship instead of the bottom.
The controls. They should have put it in the middle of a giant chamber, so you had to like walk out on a catwalk to get there.
Right?
Yeah.
Star Wars style.
Yeah, then they could have sent Quartermain to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Sean Connery, when he finds out it's Moriarty, he gets to use the Sherlock Holmes line. The game is on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Then the game is on.
So all right. So they surface. I did notice when they surfaced that there were like 4 or 5 holes throughout the entire ship. So I'm just wondering how just that one part of the ship was the problem. They were fairly high up too.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
maybe the outer hole only breached through the inner. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
That ship was so big.
Yeah. They definitely weren't able to go to their salsa class that night. As they're picking up the pieces, they get a message from Skinner. He's hiding in M's ship on the way to their secret base in Inner Mongolia. The League repairs the sub and goes up a river into Mongolia.
After their Goonies moment.
Yeah.
Everybody hands in.
Yeah. Into the snowy mountains where the base that Skinner told them about is.
I located the lake that they're pretending this was because they showed a map on screen.
Yeah.
When they were doing the line. So the lake that they showed that they're going to is Lake Baikal, which is in southern Siberia, just above Mongolia. And they said they were going up the Amur River, which is a river, but it is not connected to Lake Baikal.
Those motherfuckers.
Which river is?
The Angara. And the Angara river actually flows. Angara. It flows from the lake north into the Arctic Ocean.
Oh.
Huh.
So, also, even if it were connected to this river, the Nautilus would have had to travel over 2,000 miles inland to get there.
Right.
Yeah, this was the most
increasingly shallow water.
Yeah. The river certainly wasn't deep enough to contain a submarine of that size.
Yeah. That's not how rivers work, folks, if you've never seen a river before.
Right? Even really big rivers, Mississippi, Amazon, they aren't that deep.
No, you can't take an ocean liner. I will admit that Tom Sawyer looked striking in the snow. As it was falling on him in his coat. I thought it was Dr. Zhivago for a moment. He's just so.
It's a good thing Captain Nemo had so many outfits that matched. Snow outfits that matched. That
like
fit
Lando.
Everybody.
It's like Lando. God. Got
So
a tailor on his crew.
On his ship.
He's taking everybody's measurements while they sleep.
So they meet the Invisible Man there. They plan their infiltration of the base, which M is using as a factory to make weapons. Definitely not following OSHA regulations. Why was fire coming out of all the smokestacks?
Because they were smelting so much iron.
It was
they were
an ironworks.
All right.
making so much iron the whole time.
Okay.
They just made... Okay, so making a giant tank or like a missile or like a plane, there's like specific like supply things that you need to do to make that. And they were doing all that in-house in this tiny little palatial Russian-looking building.
Right.
No train tracks in and out, no way to haul.
Well, and
there's no helicopters, there's no airplane runway, there's
nothing.
no dirigibles.
Nothing.
You know?
And I'd like to point out that all that like the factory they showed over and over again was just giant buckets of molten iron pouring into other giant buckets of molten iron, splashing all over the floor.
Why did you take me to a gay steel mill? I don't know.
Yeah. At one point, you see all the stored vehicles, and it's like, oh, okay, this place is massive, and they're making all of this stuff here? Question mark. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and how are they getting it? How are they going to get it out? Because, like you said, they don't have a runway. They don't have roads.
Do they plan on taking over the world by driving from Siberia in tanks? Because they should read a book about history.
They're going to float their tanks down that river.
Never getting a land war in Asia.
Yeah, for real. Don't start one there. Especially in the mountains of Siberia.
Well, yeah, in 1899, there's no one to fight.
Yeah, fuck. Go buy a country in Central America or something, or South America. It's the early 1900s. This is exactly what people were doing.
No, what this comes down to was like, it was like, we want, this is like a Star Wars movie. We want 3 separate environments. We've got London, we've got Venice, and now we want snow.
We need to fight in the snow with, there needs to be
desert,
flames.
London.
Yeah.
You're right.
Globe
and a
trotting.
pinch of Africa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're the Globe Trotters. The generals better watch out.
The building looked like somebody just discovered how to use Photoshop.
Oh,
They're
God.
Like, just copy this element and paste it over here.
Yeah, the big, that looked
absolutely
pretty cheesy.
Yeah. It's a weird copy of a copy of a copy.
We're almost out of Mongolia.
So Skinner reveals that Emma's leaving that day with a case full of the samples of drugs that will give their abilities to the highest bidder. They enter the base where M has given Dorian his painting back. Inside, they split up. Skinner sets bombs. Nemo sets the scientists and their families free. Alan and Tom, which I enjoy calling them by their first names.
Yeah.
They're like a nice gay couple.
Yeah, Alan and Tom.
Alan and Tom sneak into M's room just as a guard warns them about the intruders. A fight breaks out. Nemo and Hyde take out most of the soldiers. Then, in his room, M is confronted by Alan, who recognizes that he's Moriarty. They fight. Moriarty flees.
There was when he throws that knife, it sticks into a portrait of Napoleon, which was a little Easter egg because Moriarty was known as the Napoleon of crime.
Ah,
That's
okay.
right.
Ah.
And doesn't Tom fight the other Invisible Man, Reed?
Yes.
Okay, my second most hated line of dialogue is, what makes you think I'm Skinner? Because you're fucking invisible. The only invisible guy I know.
Right.
That's what makes me think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Mina fights Dorian, eventually forcing him to look at his portrait, which kills him. He goes full Nazi and Raiders.
Yeah, he does. It is dramatic, but that's how it goes.
So was she just using like her claws, her vampire claws, to fight? Because he's got his sword, and they're slicing each other up. But is she just using her claws?
Yeah.
Meow.
And can-do spirit.
Moxie.
And
Moxie.
Eventually, she does claw him in the dick.
Yes, that's right.
Because he said if that was permanent, I'd be really upset.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which you could not get away with that if he was fighting a male vampire.
Yeah. Right.
This is just part of our institutional vampire sexism problem.
Systemic.
Okay, yeah. So then who is that? What's his name? Not Dante, the other henchman guy. Reed turns invisible, fights Tom Sawyer, who's saved by Skinner. There's that point where Skinner's like burned. He's like half burned flesh. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, totally. There was also the armored guy with the flamethrower.
Right. No. There were numerous like armored dudes with flamethrowers. Like, is that really the best idea to encase yourself in armor in the middle of a giant factory fire?
Right, where it's so hot. Yeah.
It's like tandoori.
That smells terrible.
Smells terrible. Smells like a Wiener Schnitzel inside.
Smells like a drunk German.
Yep.
So yeah, the Sawyer gets a knife to his throat by the evil Invisible Man. Then another one of M's men, that's Dante, takes Hyde's serum, turns into an even bigger monster. When he's drinking that, he's like just pouring it all over his own face, just going
Yeah, some dudes and house parties do that, in high school.
Like he's swallowing like maybe a quarter of what's pouring on his head.
Right. Pouring it over his face.
I can't imagine the scientists were like, that's very expensive. So yeah, they fight. Then Alan catches up with M, and they fight, and then we cross-cut between fights for a while. Hyde changes back into Jekyll. They're about to die when Skinner's bombs go off. Uber Hyde dies as Nemo and Jekyll escape.
Yeah, that awesome icicle room that everybody has.
Right.
It reminded me of where they killed people in Interview with the Vampire.
Oh God, yeah.
The sunroom thing. It's like, why is this here?
For this.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Surprise. Alan has a gun to M when the invisible bad man shows up with a knife to Tom Sawyer's throat. Alan shoots the bad see-through guy, but he gets a bullet in the gut, and Moriarty jumps out the window and runs.
Oh, he doesn't get a bullet in the gut. He gets a knife to the back.
A knife to the back.
He gets stabbed in the back.
Yeah, Moriarty stabs in the back.
All right. I didn't catch it, but I stopped paying attention at this point. Alan can't shoot him because his glasses are broken. My glasses! So Tom has to use the shooting good lessons that Alan gave him earlier to kill Moriarty.
So the way that Moriarty glides to the ground, he like jumps out that big crack in the wall.
Uh-huh.
And he glides to the ground. It just looked pretty weird.
Like
and
a flying squirrel.
Yeah, Batman.
Yeah.
My conjecture is that his coat was made of sugar gliders.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so soft.
Have you? We used to own a sugar glider. Moon had one for a while as a pet. They're disgusting. That thing did nothing all day but lick its own penis for literal hours.
Like you wouldn't.
Well, to be fair, but it.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, won't you fly or something?
I woke up one night. It got out of its cage, and I woke up with it scampering across my face and started batting at my own head because I thought it was like a spider or something when I was coming out of my sleep. It was terrifying.
Yeah, and does it just poop and pee wherever it wants?
Yeah, it was awful. I was not sad when we got rid of it. It was terrible.
Oh, glide on, you crazy time.
I mean, cute, sure, but like
Get out of here.
disgusting creatures. Anyway, so Tom saves the day, and Alan dies. The League gathers in Africa, where Quatermain is buried next to his son.
In a last-ditch racist effort.
Right?
I don't know. I had a real problem with the witch doctor.
Oh, fuck yeah!
And they ended on that. It was very weird.
Right. Yeah. So they vow to continue to work together to fight evil. They leave, and the racist witch doctor character does some stuff over Q's grave, which bursts into flames, and then lightning strikes it as credits roll.
Were they setting up something where like he was going to be resurrected, Frankenstein?
Yeah. Remember there was supposed to be a sequel.
Yeah. He was definitely coming back.
Because then they did Dracula, they could bring Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in for the second one.
Quatermain. Put the DNR on his freaking
they misspelled Quatermain's name on his gravestone.
Well,
yeah.
Swahili.
They didn't know him that well. I mean, they weren't the best friends.
They only knew him for 5 days.
Yeah.
That is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It was not extraordinary.
It was somehow entertaining at times, but no, it's not great.
It looked cool sometimes.
I agree. But it sounds like he didn't really... It sounds like Sean Connery had more of a say than Moore and O'Neill, so that probably explains some things.
Oh, absolutely.
And since we are a comic book podcast, it doesn't sound like they really stuck very well.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
They failed with every big set piece they did.
They did.
That's really... Because you need to visually guide the viewer through what's happening.
Yeah.
And they did not do that at all.
No.
Yeah, no.
The locations were for the visuals, like Thoreau said.
Yeah, the action was a complete mess. Mess.
And Tom Sawyer, I've been trying to think of another literary character. It's like, I don't know, Tom Joad. He sent over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, who
Mark
else?
Twain. I just thought Mark Twain, it would have been funny to have
Sam that would have been hilarious.
Being Mark Twain, because he was a character.
He was a character. Mark Twain was totally made up. Yeah.
I don't know, Paul Bunyan?
Right.
Was he Canadian? I don't know.
Oh, John Henry.
John Henry.
Awesome.
That would have been so cool. Steel driving man.
The ironworks at the end.
Yeah.
He's taking a big old sledgehammer.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Wow. Well, there you go. Damn.
I just seen him like, I ain't no gentleman. Like smashes someone.
Yes. Exactly. He's all, what white nonsense is this?
Be like, y'all motherfuckers. It's just Sam Jackson.
Fucking Venice.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, I could see that making that 100% better movie. Wow.
That would have been cool just off the top of our head, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was trying to figure out if they could have done a better job casting Alan Quatermain.
I think they could have.
Probably could have diversified the cast a little bit better too.
They probably couldn't have gotten a bigger name, but they absolutely could have cast it better because he was full on just like chubby 65-year-old Sean Connery, like tottering around.
Which is kind of where the character is supposed to be at. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think who else would have that like sort of manufactured machismo. I can think of some British. Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, oh, he, maybe could have Ian McKellen done it.
Ian McKellen
no, I don't think so. You need that swinging dick, stupid safari. You know what big game hunters are like, right? Donald Trump Jr. like that.
I was wondering if Jeremy Irons couldn't have pulled it off.
He was probably too young.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was 50 or so when this movie came out.
He would have had a lot more sophistication to it.
But he could have. Yeah, exactly. Maybe more like Richard Chamberlain's from the other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he brought that sort of, that that grandfather, I don't listen to anybody else. I'm still tough as nails.
It's true.
Yeah.
The dying tiger.
I've also seen those old men. Like, I'll still kick your ass. It's like, I saw you get off that bar stool. It took you 10 minutes.
Right.
Jesus Christ. You asked for help to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to imagine anyone else in 2003 who was the right age and had the right feel to them.
Who else would have ruined their career with this movie?
Right.
Well, and who else could have contended with the star power of all these people I've never heard of before?
Right. Who went on to do almost nothing.
They could have just found
England.
Any old guy to that would agree to play an opium addict.
Yeah.
Just like
Alec Baldwin's like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, totally.
He'll do anything.
Opium den. Faux show. Long nails.
Do we need to put this movie on a list?
Yeah, we got to put it on the list. So I'm looking, and the place my eye goes to is number 40, which is currently occupied by The Phantom.
It's better than The Phantom.
It's better than...
I really disliked The Phantom.
Let's move up a little. Is this better than Daredevil?
No.
No.
Not for what we're doing. Like maybe it was more entertaining in points or had more.
It was prettier.
Action. But comic book was no.
Yeah.
I don't think think just as a movie it's better necessarily. The Daredevil, as dumb as it was, everything made sense how they got to where they were going. Like I was
but I feel like every performance in this is better than Jennifer Garner.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But
no, it's not better. To answer the question, no, it's not better than Daredevil. I don't think.
I don't believe it is. Well, that means we're looking somewhere between 40 and 35. We've got kind of a range there. Is this better or worse than Batman Forever?
Better. No.
I don't necessarily think so.
Not better.
I don't agree with that. Yeah.
I took it back as soon as I said it.
Is this better than Steel?
I'd like to rescind that from the record. Better than Steel? Oh, I love Shaq, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaq is great in his own way, but Steel was a fucking nightmare of like...
Steel was really bad, but Steel made me laugh a couple of times.
Steel was fun.
Yeah.
This was never fun.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to put this above or below Sergeant Kabuki Man?
Oh, let's put it above Kabuki Man. Fuck that movie.
Above Kabuki Man. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
I'll agree.
I can just hear that song in my head now. God.
Sergeant.
And all I can see is the park
Man. Yeah.
All right.
The woman was okay.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to put this at number 39. Right above Sergeant Kabuki Man, right below Steel.
You're going to say Sergeant Pepper? Right below Sergeant Pepper.
Right below Sergeant Pepper, right above Nemo's Submarine.
Okay.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen goes right there. All right, number 39. And that draws a close to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which means we have to look forward to next week, our 50th episode. Number 50, Hellboy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That was not a bad movie.
No, I don't remember it being bad at all. It's been a few years, but I'm looking forward to that one. So we're going back. Our second Guillermo del Toro film, which is interesting. I think it'll be a lot more Guillermo than Blade 2 was.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's coming up next week. And in the meantime, growl. This is Thoreau Smiley for Harmless Phosphorescence.
I'm Josh Cece, but I'd prefer a less provocative title.
I'm Brian Leshin. I'm complicated.
This is Alaric Weber saying bon voyage.
Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producers Atticus Burkett and Michael Beckwith, and producers Alyssa Dent, Hedda Paulson, and Jojo Birchtree. Harmless Phosphorescence is a production of the Harmless Entertainment Network.